Hello everybody and welcome to The Reality Is. My name is Alysha.
And my name is Sanjana.
And before the show starts, we'd like to let viewers know that the values and opinions that are expressed on this show do not reflect the opinions of Close Look Productions. They're our values and ours alone. And with that being said, let's get started with the show. Woo! What episode are we on? Episode 3?
Three.
3?
Yay, we made it.
Yeah, it's going well. I mean, we've had some bumps and ups and downs for the show, but it's been super fun.
It has been fun, and we've gotten some tech support. We've gotten a lot of great guests come on, share a thing or two with us.
Yeah, finding guests has been really fun.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah, just going and connecting with people that I would
sure.
never, ever meet in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And then having them on the studio, this energy, especially during COVID times, I think
Exactly.
it's some energy we definitely need to vibe
for
off
sure.
of. Awesome. Okay, so what is the topic for this week?
Today we're going to be talking about the good girl syndrome, and we have a very special guest come in. Her name is Simi. And she is the founder of Mama's High on Chai, and I did actually meet her when I saw her video on the Lotus movement, and then I wanted to interview her because I knew she had so much to share.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I feel like when I heard that Simi was going to be on the show and we were talking about something called the good girl syndrome, I was like, I feel like I know everything about it without actually knowing about the topic itself. I think it's something that women in general, they experience, you know, the idea of what a good girl is, and abiding by it or not abiding by it, the consequences that exist if you decide to go the other way. And I think, you know, in terms of the South Asian community, there are double pressures to be this good girl.
I agree.
And so I think it's really important for us to, like, delve into this topic, like actually know what the symptoms are, what it looks like, how it affects us, and what we can do so that, you know, we take control of this topic.
Yeah, especially for the youth out there, because right now they have a chance or an opportunity to really make their lives better and to expose their family and their loved ones to this new mindset. And I think Simi would do an amazing job in introducing this to our young viewers out there.
And she is an advocate for mental health in the South Asian community, and who better else to be on the show and have this conversation with. So let's have Simi on the show and get this show started. We are back. We have Simi on the show, the guest speaker for this week. So, Simi, tell the viewers about yourself.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you all for having me on your show, wonderful show. And this is actually my first in-person show recording because since COVID hit, I haven't actually gone anywhere. So,
oh my gosh, how does that feel? Like, does it feel weird? Does it feel awkward? Does it feel awesome?
I don't know. It's just a little bit weird because I'm not used to going from point A to point B. So, you know, today I had to drive to the studio. So, but yeah, thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled to be here, and you know, I'm excited to talk about good girl syndrome because I recently just learned about that, and I thought that I organically came up with the term before I knew what it was.
You should have copyrighted it right away.
And so let's get this show started.
Let's get into it. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about good girl syndrome.
Well, good girl syndrome is basically not really a condition, but you know, that it's something that girls experience that make them conform to the societal and the cultural norms and the pressures, and you know, and that's, I think, very prevalent in the South Asian culture especially. So, you know, there's a lot of expectations from the families and their parents because, you know, the parents come from another, you know, their home country, and they leave their world behind and their friends behind. They bring their morals and their values to their new country, and and then their expectations are different, right? And it's like the two worlds colliding, because the children of immigrants are also in this modern world, living in this modern world, and have a different perspective. And so I think that's where the problems really arise, is when parents expect something different than what the children want.
Absolutely.
And so we call it a good girl syndrome because I believe that women and girls are more likely in their adolescence and their youth are more likely to conform to these pressures, and because I don't know, I was like that, so I can speak from my experience.
I kind of agree.
Yes,
I agree.
That I always wanted to make my parents happy and make them proud and do what was expected of me and satisfy them in any way, shape, or form.
Wow. Okay, that was a crazy good explanation. I feel like there's so much to say about this topic.
Totally.
I feel like, so first of all, I think that there's gender roles, right, in every society, right? Like, this is what it means to be a boy, this is what it means to be a girl. But, given the South Asian context, there are very stringent expectations on boy and girl and polarity of them, right?
Right.
And so, as you mentioned, there's a certain expectations, certain pressures that we face.
Lessons and being being someone who is in their youth years, the pressure is immense as it is, and there is a lot of identity struggles, right?
Yeah.
So youth anyways go through the identity crisis, but in the South Asian culture, or any sort of if you're someone who is a person of color, who comes, your parents come from a different background. They probably come with their own cultural values and morals and expectations. So, that can be really it can become really hard to really figure out who you really are and what your own values should be.
Even for youth, I know that a lot of people that come from countries in Asia, when they come over here, they already feel a lot of pressure because they're trying to make new friends and having to adjust to a new environment and adding more stress to themselves, especially girls, because they're trying to cause as little problems, I guess, for their family, because their family's also adjusting to a new move, to new changes in their work or the environment as well. So really taking on a lot of that energy and stress with them and trying to be the best person that they can be, so that way they don't have to cause their parents problem. But they're often neglecting their own needs and wants, or their own problems that might even arise. They might put that to the side because they're trying to create this, I guess, easier adjustment for their family.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
because I think she really speaks from her experiences, and it really shows. I could feel it right here.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
you know what? Yeah. What you just said, Sanjana, brought me right back to my youth years and what I went through. Because to tell you a little bit about myself, I came to Canada as an immigrant, as a teenager, and I came from India. My mom raised me as a single mother. And we had a lot of family issues, such as alcoholism, some abuse in the family. So, there was a lot of, and financial struggles as well, being new to the country and everything. So, there was a lot of pressure on me, being the older child, being the girl in the house. I had a younger brother. And so, yes, I did have to put a lot of my own values aside, and what made me happy aside,
your needs and my needs, desires,
to make sure that my parents didn't have to go through more pain and suffering, to make it a little bit easier on my parents as well.
Summarize, I really feel like gender and cultural cultures really have like a role in people's mindset. On top of having to move to a new country, dealing with a new culture, a new environment, and integrating your family values as well, and trying to keep, I guess, a balance between both your worlds. But I was really curious on what kind of symptoms are there for the good girl syndrome, and I know that we have a game to kind of address this.
So let's get into the game. I'm so excited. When we plan games, we like go all out. We're like, oh, this is gonna be super fun. Like, I hope you're gonna be just
so
excited. So what is that we have a list of symptoms that you're going to ask Sanjana and I.
Okay.
And we're gonna rate. We're gonna rate from 0. This is gonna be our 0. We didn't. Yeah. So 0 to 5. 5 being that we completely abide by this like every day, or it's something that's very prominent in our life, and 0 being, nah, doesn't faze me at all, basically. And you know what? The whole purpose of this is to kind of showcase what symptoms exist for the good girl syndrome. You'll ask the questions, and then we will rate the symptoms.
Okay, so ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask you, Alysha, first, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, you have to be nice to everyone to be loved and accepted. How would you rate that?
Okay. You have to be nice to everyone to be loved and accepted. Oh, yeah, a 5. Yeah. Sanjana's a 5 too. Oh yeah.
So you definitely have that symptom.
Yeah, I have it like all the time. Yeah, it's so sad.
Okay, so second question. Struggling to say no. Oh my gosh.
Ooh. I'm a 3.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But
that's pretty good. Better than 5.
Yeah, I know.
I would be a 5 too. I would be a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm getting better.
I know. That's the thing. It's about getting
Terrified
better.
of upsetting people.
Ooh.
It's so funny. I wish I was participating because I'd just be a 1 for everything.
Really? Studio audience, Tajida, video and camera operator. She has a completely different perspective from us. So that's really interesting.
I never grew up with good girl syndrome just because I was like such a rebellious kid, and then my parents just like expected so low from me.
You push the boundaries when you were younger.
Yeah.
Good girls don't do that. They just stay. They just stick with the rigidness of what's expected.
And the thing is, like, sometimes when you don't, if you're a rebel, for example, and you're not, like, you know you're not ever going to listen to your parents or meet their expectations, do your own thing, is there still consequences? You know, sometimes it depends on the family dynamic and, you know, how, and everyone's personalities, right? So, you know, there still could be major consequences, or maybe there could be some mental health effects, impacts in the future.
Interesting.
Okay, so 4th question, wearing a permanent smile.
Ooh.
What would you rate that?
I waver. Like, I go like, I'm in between, sometimes an extreme or like not caring with each question. So I wish there was a better range. I'm going to say 4.
3?
Oh my gosh. Really?
I don't know.
I feel like...
I feel like it depends. I feel like I am quite the people pleaser, and I feel like I always want to create a positive environment. But some days I just can't wear that smile, you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
How about believing that criticism is believing that criticism is the end of the world?
Ooh. I'm going to say 2.
I'd be low 2.
Yeah, it depends on who it is.
It's an official term in psychology, right? So it's not something that just I came up organically.
You should say that. Just do it. I am the founder of.
So it does exist, and there can be, you know, huge impacts in the future, right?
Yeah,
like as you step into adulthood. That was
okay. That was fun because I never would have thought some of these would be like some symptoms of the good girl syndrome.
Yeah.
So Sanjana, which one was your highest?
For the second one, I would say struggling to say no. Again, being a people pleaser, never having those barriers or acknowledging when I'm kind of at some sort of discomfort, because I want people to enjoy my company. I want them to think I'm easygoing, and I want to portray like a caring image, I feel. And I feel like that is part of the good girl syndrome, because you're trying to be a caretaker and trying to, I guess, make sure that everyone around you is happy, and again, not considering your own self-respect or value.
That's
struggles.
Yeah, it is a struggle, because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you are being a good human. And that's if you want to check out Mama's High on Chai podcast. I kind of took that from your I took that from your segment. Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, those are some really good characteristics, but then, you know, if it's at the detriment of your own mental health and your own, you know, self-worth, that's when there's the issue. And, you know, not having a good relationship with boundaries is also, I feel like that's another symptom.
Oh my gosh,
Right?
The boundaries is huge. That's a whole another, I'm going to have to come back for
that.
Yeah,
come back.
That topic.
Just boundaries.
The emotional boundaries, because it's considered such a taboo in our culture. And then also the saying no, right? You know, where it's considered to be such a bad thing in our culture that that we forget to say no, and we feel guilty about saying no, but even when we want to.
Nice to go through these, because like, so the one that I scored the least, like had the lowest number, was wearing a permanent smile, because I've just gotten so sick and tired over the years of, you know, hey, where's your smile? Like, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so I made the decision to look, however, I don't care if I look like, what is it called? Resting bitch face. I don't care. And I think you get to that point with, maybe for some of them, you might not get to that point easily, but some of these symptoms, you will get tired of it, or you will realize, sorry, I'm not being my genuine self. And I've lost touch with who I'm supposed to be for all these years. Yeah. So
And include kind of what we've been talking about. Some of the causes of good girl syndrome can include a lot of the gender biases and the cultural values and expectations that are implemented by our families, and really struggling to have a balance between our life in regards to like our friends and our school, but also like maintaining the family values that we were brought up with and keeping a part of our culture. And I know that from like a young age, women are kind of expected to be the caretakers. They're supposed to be compassionate and maternal, and really be the caretakers of the family, while the men are supposed to, be the breadwinners, or like earn money and
bring home the dough.
Exactly. Yeah, so these expectations for both genders play a huge part in their mental health and the type of person that they want to be in the future. And it does play an immense role in the good girl syndrome, and affects all of us, clearly.
It affects us. Woohoo. Didn't touch upon this, but oh my gosh, lots of expectations. Let's end it there.
A ton of expectations, you know, like, for example, a girl would be expected to be married by a certain age, and to be married to only a man, cannot be married, you know, so default is heterosexuality, and the thought of even marrying another woman or being with another woman would be considered a huge taboo with huge consequences, and then, you know, so that can also make someone really unhappy, and you know, go into depression, and you know, have anxiety. And, you know, there's also expectations on what kind of man the girl should marry, you know. It has to be from a certain caste, has to be from a different background, or a certain background, and has to be, you know, has to have an acceptable profession, right? So those are all the things that are, like I said, like those are all kind of pre-programmed within ourselves, because I know from my own experience, I just thought it would be just easier to find a South Asian or even a Sikh Punjabi guy for myself.
Yeah.
And
how do you address the good girl syndrome so that you come out on the other side overcoming this battle, this inner battle that we all have?
Right. No, definitely. It is definitely an inner battle that we, as women, as girls, especially as South Asian girls, deal with on a regular basis. And it's, something that we need to do is just go inward and really make sure that we know what we want. And you don't have to really know what you want. You need to just connect with yourself, right? And like we said before, what is it that will make you happy irrespective of the expectations that are and pressures that are put upon you, and what's important to you, and how will you communicate that to your family and your loved ones, right? Even if you have to say no, I think things can be said in a way. I mean, I'm going into good girl syndrome again,
Oh, no.
So, I mean, but you still have to be respectful, right? Like, I think that, there are some good things also that come out of our culture, is to respect each other and be kind to each other, right? So, you can still do what it is that is important to you, but be kind to others.
See, I wanted to add that being kind is being nice with your boundaries.
Right.
So it's being, empathetic and compassionate, all those amazing qualities that, the good girl is supposed to have. Like, those are great. You should have those in boys and girls, right?
Right. And then starting to look at mental health, some of the mental health symptoms as well, because if that's starting to, if your day-to-day life has started to become difficult, then reaching out for help. There are school counselors available to talk to therapists, right? Talking to someone who knows about mental health and can refer you to a place. And, the other thing, last thing I want to say is ultimately, and this is something that I've only learned the hard way, is that ultimately you are the only person who is responsible for your own happiness, and no one else is going to do that for you. Your friends, your family are only, your support. But it's really up to you. And if you're not happy yourself within you, then it's not worth it, right? You have to be happy first so that you can serve others and you can help others feel happier around you as well.
So true. And I think it's so about introspection and understanding what your expectations for yourself is, and really integrating the things that you might admire from your culture, and also integrating your own values and the things that you hope or aspire to become, and really meshing all those things together and having those boundaries so that other people can respect it and so you can also respect it. I think that's super.
And just, I don't know, these past 5 years, surround yourself around super women. Like, women who embody those boundaries,
right? Who
are kind. That kind of exposure is like just astronomically, it's amazing energy when you see that, when you see women that are like exerting themselves, and they might sound a little rude and they don't care. That's what you need. That's what you need. Like, for that to be normalized. That's really what it is. Because you don't really see that if you're just staying within your own culture, within your own family unit. So that's really important. Give Simi the floor. Tell the viewers where they can find you and how they can connect with you.
Hey everyone, so you can connect with me on Instagram. That is my main platform. I can be found at Mama's High on Chai. So the spelling goes MAMAS High HIGH on Chai.
CHAI.
And yeah, so you can connect with me on there. You can message me. I'm always available on the DMs. And you can email me if you like at mamashighonchai@gmail.com. And you can also listen in on my podcast. It's available on all the major platforms that are there. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So so hope you enjoy my podcast, and I can't wait to hear from you.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It's been a delight. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun talking about it. I could literally talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
but I know it's not feasible. So
well, thank you again, and I'm sure we'll have you on the show again.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Oh my gosh.
That was so good. Wow, so that was really good. That was really fun, really engaging, really interactive.
Yeah, and we had so many, fun bloopers in between, and we had great discussions. Like, I didn't even think about certain things like LGBTQ and like the pressures of like family and like.
There's just so much to unpack.
Yeah.
Like, I just good girl syndrome. Like, this is what it is, gender roles, like whatever. But there's just so much. And I think it would be really awesome to have Simi back on this show.
Yeah, I know. I feel like there's a lot of like untouched topics that we were discussing like towards the end especially, and then I think we could really get her on and touch on those subjects.
Yeah, totally. It's so great. Well, I guess the reality of this topic is that it is really complex, and and people relate to it on different degrees. So like we relate on to it really like quite a bit, and then we had audience member who was like, nah,
not at all.
Like, no, I don't agree with any of this.
And I was just like taking notes. I was like, please teach me your secrets.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. So, that's really important to keep in mind. And there are ways around it. There's ways around it. We just have we need the courage, though, to realize that we deserve more, and there's more to us than our cultural identity.
Thank you so much for coming on today, guys. We appreciate the fans and everyone that made this show so special. Hopefully that includes us. Simi, our guest speaker, Dan, Tajida, and Simi from Close Look as well, and everyone else who continues to support us. So please do connect with us on social media at The Reality Is Show.
Yeah, and honestly, if you guys have any suggestions or criticisms or what you liked about the show, please let us know. Connect with us. And we'll see you next Thursday at 6 p.m., same time, same place.
I was like, do I need to say? Oh.
I'm good.
Okay, you survived.
Hey, Dan.
Hi.
There's going to be a lot of editing, but I will help you. Because there was a lot of stopping and going. That was just how it went today.